let me be honest with you up front. Home care in Los Angeles is expensive. And the first question almost every family asks me is, how are we actually going to afford this? What's your rate? That question deserves a real, thorough answer, not a vague one. So there are programs out there. So today I'm going to walk you through every legitimate way to pay for in-home care in California here in 2026, from private pay all the way to government programs maybe most families don't even know exist. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what options apply to your situation and what steps to take. First, let's talk about what things actually cost, because you need a real number. In the greater Los Angeles area right now, a licensed home care agency typically charges between $35 to $50 or more per hour. If your loved one needs around-the-clock care, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, you're looking at costs that can easily reach $27,000 a month here in California. And that's not a typo. That's the reality of this market. I tell you this not to scare you, but because understanding the real cost is the only way to plan for it, to plan around it. The families who get the best outcomes are the ones who start looking at their options before there's a crisis. So let's try to go through each one. Option one, private pay, out of pocket. This is the most straightforward option. You pay for care directly, either from savings, retirement funds, home equity, or family contributions. It gives you, of course, the most flexibility. You choose the agency, the hours, the schedule. There's no crazy heavy paperwork, no waiting, no income limits. For families who can afford it, private pay is clean and simple. And many families start here while they're simultaneously applying and waiting for programs that take longer to kick in, as an example. The important thing to ask any agency is, do you have a minimum hour requirement? Some agencies require a minimum of 4 hours per visit, maybe even higher, which is good to know up front when you're budgeting. Option two, long-term care insurance. If your loved one was forward-thinking enough to buy a long-term care insurance policy, this is its moment to use it. Most policies activate when the person can no longer perform 2 or more activities of daily living, things like bathing, dressing, eating, or toileting. They typically also cover care triggered by cognitive decline, such as dementia. If a policy exists, call the insurance company immediately and ask for a copy of the policy's home care benefit provisions. Specifically ask for, what is the daily benefit amount? What is the elimination period, which is essentially a waiting period before the benefit begins, so you really have to pay private pay initially? And is there an inflation protection rider? Some policies may pay $150 a day, others pay $300 a day. Knowing that number tells you exactly how much of your agency costs the insurance will cover and how much will remain out of pocket for you. If you're not sure whether a policy exists, check old filing cabinets, email inboxes, contact a financial advisor, or maybe even the agent, if they're still around, that sold you that policy. Billions of dollars in long-term care benefits go unclaimed every year because families simply don't know a policy was purchased. Option number three, IHSS, in-home supportive services. This is California's most powerful program for home care, and it is dramatically underused because people don't know about it or don't think they'll qualify. IHSS is a state program funded through Medi-Cal, California's Medicaid, and it is designed specifically to help low-income seniors and people with disabilities get home care so they can stay in their own homes instead of going into a facility. The state will actually pay for an improved number of care hours every month. In some cases, it can even pay a family member to be the caregiver. Now, of course, to qualify, your loved one must be 65 or older, or blind or disabled. They must be a California resident living at home, and they must be enrolled or eligible for Medi-Cal. Income and asset limits, of course, apply, but in 2026, those limits were actually expanded to allow more people with moderate incomes to qualify. To apply in Los Angeles County, you contact the Department of Public Social Services, DPSS. You can apply online through LA County DPSS's website or call their IHSS helpline at 1-877-800-4544. A county social worker will come to the home, do a needs assessment, and determine how many hours per month are authorized. If you're denied or feel the hours aren't enough, you have the right to appeal, and I encourage you to exercise that right. Now, IHSS does not cover everything. It doesn't pay agency rates. It absolutely doesn't cover round-the-clock care in most cases. But for families who qualify, it is a genuine financial lifeline and should be one of the first calls you make if you can do it. Option 4, VA, Veteran Affairs, VA aid and attendance for veterans and surviving spouses. So if your parent or loved one served in the military during wartime, stop what you're doing and pay very close attention to this. The VA offers a benefit called aid in attendance, and as of 2026, eligible veterans can receive up to $3,845 per month, completely tax-free, specifically to pay for in-home care or assisted living. Surviving spouses of wartime veterans can receive up to $1,558 per month. These are real, significant monthly payments that most eligible families are not receiving simply because nobody told them that it existed. To qualify, the veteran needs to have served at least 90 days of active duty with at least 1 day during a wartime period and have an honorable discharge or general discharge. On the medical side, they need to require help with activities of daily living, so bathing, dressing, mobility, that kind of thing. There are also net worth limits. In 2026, that cap is around $163,000. To apply, veterans use a VA form. I'm not going to say that form, it's quite long, but you could find it online at va.gov. And for surviving spouses, this is a slightly different form. Be aware that processing can take several months, anywhere from, I've heard 2 to 6 months. But once approved, payments are typically retroactive to the month the application was received. So apply as soon as you can. In Long Beach, I strongly recommend reaching out to the Los Angeles County Veterans Services Office, VSOs. They offer free help if you get an appointment. Usually they're booked out months though, but they'll navigate the application for you at no cost. Number 5 option, LA County Area Agency on Aging. If none of the above programs fully covers your situation, while you're waiting for benefits to kick in, the Los Angeles County Aging and Disabilities Department has resources I think worth knowing about. They offer case management, caregiver support programs, connection to subsidized services, and can help navigate what you qualify for. I've even heard a client take specific grants that they apply for. You could reach them through the California Department of Aging's website or by calling 1-800-510-2020, which is a statewide senior service hotline. They can connect you to a local resource specific to the Long Beach area or surrounding areas. So let me give you a really quick summary. There are 5 main ways to pay for home care in California currently. There's private pay, which is the majority of people out of pocket. There's long-term care insurance, if a policy exists. There's IHSS through Medi-Cal for qualifying low-income seniors. There's VA aid and attendance for wartime veterans and their surviving spouses. And there's county resources through LA Area Agency on Aging. Here's the most important thing I want you to walk away with, though, too. Medicare does not cover long-term personal home care. It does not pay for bathing help, dressing help, or companionship. It only covers skilled nursing, think of the medical services, and therapy under very specific conditions for a limited amount of time. I find that surprises a lot of families, of course, and finding out that during a crisis is quite devastating. So now you know the families who navigate this best are the ones who start the conversation early, before there's a fall, before there's a hospitalization, before it's an emergency. If you want to sit down with us and you're locally here in Long Beach or some surrounding cities in LA County and map out what your specific situation looks like, what programs you might qualify for, and what private care could cost, we of course offer free in-home consultation, or we could have a conversation over the phone. Our number is, as always, listed on the YouTube channel. Share this video with someone you know who's in the middle of this, because this information can save family thousands of dollars and an enormous amount of stress if you start now. As always, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone. Thank you.